Hello and welcome to another subtrack in Exponential Growth. And this particular one is called How Would You Measure Your Growth? This track or subtrack is about having the right metrics for measuring growth. Because as you invest in growth, it's important that you're able to measure what you're investing in. If you measure the wrong things, you end up paying attention to the wrong things. So being sure that you're measuring the right things is a very, very important foundation in your growth. So it's like our school system, our education system. Students go through school measuring exam scores, focusing on passing exams and grades, and we live our entire schooling years thinking that scores are the most important thing in education until we wake up into the real world and then we realize that nobody actually cares. Nobody is concerned or bothered about what we kept scoring in English or science or mathematics. It's the same with us with growth. If you don't know what to measure, you'll pay attention to the wrong things and you will end up feeding the wrong things. You want to see growth in your life, you want to see growth in your business, you want to see growth in your ministry. It's important that you know exactly what to measure. And why is this important? Because while growth is an internal process, the results of growth are not internal. The results are always visible. People see growth. If a plant is growing, there's evidence. You will see, you will know that this plant is growing. It doesn't matter the thing powering growth. Even though we have established that the invisible powers the visible. Yes, the root which we can't see is powering growth. But what we see to know that growth is happening is not invisible. We can see it. You see green leaves, you see fruit, you see the tree or the plant increasing in height. So, definitely, when growth is happening, there is visible evidence. It can't be hidden. Even for human beings, organizations, or businesses, or ministries, or whatever, the same applies. People will see results when you are growing, even though they don't see the process. So, the process is what is invisible. But remember, it's the invisible process that drives the visible results. And because of this phenomenon, the fact that people only see results and not process, we tend to think or we can make a mistake to assume that the things we see are the things that drive growth. And so most times when people are trying to grow, they are mistaking the results for the drivers. Yeah. They think that, oh, because when someone has grown, this and this and this happen in their life. Therefore, if I want to grow, I should try and do those things because we assume that those are the growth themselves. No, that's not it. People will think that a tree is growing because its leaves are green. No, the leaves are green because it is growing. So the things that we see and we think those are the things that drive growth, no, they are actually the outcomes of growth. Those things are happening because there's growth happening. And so it's important that we establish those differences. Take an organization, for example. When growth begins to happen, there are results that we see. Those results are the reasons that we know that, oh, this business is growing. So for a business, you will experience increase in revenue. More money is coming in. More customers are coming in. And in some cases, physical expansion. The business that was in one location now is in two, three, four, five locations. It's gone from one city to another city. It's crossed borders. It's gone international. Those are the things that people see. They are not the drivers of growth. They are the revealers of growth. They are the reasons we know that growth is happening. Take ministry, for example. You see an increase in membership. Oh, this church is growing. Its influence is growing. Finance is increasing. Even physical expressions are multiplying. It was in one location. Now they have 12, 13, 14, 15 branches. Those are revealers of growth. They are not drivers of growth. Very important. People who don't understand the growth process try to focus on those things. And that's where they make the mistake of growth. In an individual, for example, you want to grow as a person and you're thinking, what will be the yardstick for measuring my growth? Of course, you're thinking brand awareness, social media followership, influence is increasing. More people are seeing me, more people are knowing me. I'm getting more platforms. If I'm a trainer, if I'm a speaker, if I'm a consultant, I'm getting more visibility, more platforms. That's not where growth happens. That's simply what shows that growth is happening. In professional terms, and for the sake of this subtrack, we're going to give them the names that they deserve. They are called lead measures and lag measures. So think of it as what drives growth and what reveals growth are two different things. So we call them lead measures versus lag measures. Lead measures are the things that happen to make growth happen. Lag measures are the way we know that growth or decline is happening. So, if you will experience sustained growth, then you need to clearly identify the difference between your lead measures and your lag measures. Like I said earlier, lag measures are the things we see to know that growth is happening. And sometimes this growth could be negative, like I said, decline. So if your lag measures are reducing, you know that negative growth is happening, and that's a reduction, that's a decline. Of course, it happens. Not in all cases, a tree doesn't get shorter, but organizations get smaller, influence reduces, things happen that actually signifies negative growth. In business, your sales, your revenue, in church, your attendance, those are lag measures. When a church goes from 50 to 80 to 150 to 200, we are knowing that growth is happening. But hey, guys, that is not what is powering growth. That is what is revealing growth. Lead measures are the things that we do that actually lead to or produce the lag measures. Yes. What are you doing that is taking this church from 50 to 100 to 150? Those are lead measures. So, you know what most individuals and leaders do, even organizations? We keep a scoreboard of our lag measures. So, when a business is doing, we're checking month on month. So, you have your monthly report. Go and check your monthly report. What are you checking? Lag measures. Even in your business, you're checking revenue, you're checking sales, lag measures. When you focus on the wrong thing, you're not able to get results. And I'm going to explain this to you because it's when you focus on lag measures, you only get to be aware when things are not going right. You only get to know when the outcome has already happened. And this is not just for the sake of this class. Proper research has been done. These are professional business terminologies, leading measures and lagging measures. So let me just take some time and explain this better. A lot of research has been done on this. People have done studies on this, and if you just Google it, you will see lots of work on lead measures and lag measures. Companies that succeed over time have been found to be those who focus on lead measures. Companies who pay attention to leading indicators. That's what some researchers call it. Leading indicators versus lagging indicators. I mean, look at what you have here. So a leading indicator signals what is likely to happen, whereas a lagging indicator signals what has already happened. So a leading indicator tells you, it predicts the future. Lag measures tells you what has already happened. So companies that perform below average have been proven, have been found to be companies that focus on lag measures. So as you think of growth, I want to start by shifting your focus and asking, what are the leading and lagging indicators around whatever it is that you're trying to grow? So you want to grow a business, you want to grow an organization, you want to grow your personal influence, your personal brand. First question is, what are the indicators? What are the things that drive growth? What are the things that reveal growth for me? That's why this subtrack is important. So let's take a few practical examples. Because when we set goals, most times, we set goals in lag measure terms. We say set measurable goals, of course. If you can measure it, it's a lag measure that you measure, right? If you can measure it most times. So look at this, for example. This year, I want to get published in newspapers that have a wide reach. I want to publish a book. I want to open 15 branches. I want to make 50,000 sales of my books, of my courses, of my coaching program, of my whatever. That's normal. That's how we set goals. However, if that's the only thing your eyes are on, it's at the end of the year or at the end of the road that you will know that, oh, I didn't achieve it. Oh, I was supposed to have 3,000 members on my mailing list in my community this December and I only have 25. What happened? That's because you're measuring a lag measure. you need to shift your focus to lead measures, which are predictive, what will lead to the goal. And this is where it gets powerful. Lead measures are influenceable. They are things that you actually are able to influence. You can't influence lag measures because they are outcomes, but you can influence league measures. So, see, for this year, I'm going to connect with 50 new contacts on papers. So I'm going to go to places where publishers meet. I'm going to go to conferences where the media people meet because I want to get published in newspapers. That is a lead measure. You can influence it. You can't influence lag because by the time they've happened, time is gone. By the time you realize them, they've already happened. So, what's the entire goal of this subtrack? I need you to shift your focus. Yeah, I need to shift your focus. As a pastor, as a ministry leader, how do you know growth has happened? You know already, you know those things. But you see, I want you to shift your focus to asking yourself, what are the things that lead to attendance growth? For example, the quality of your sermons as a pastor actually influences membership, whether they stay, whether they increase. However, what do we measure every Sunday? Attendance. We almost don't have a metric for measuring sermon quality. We almost don't have a yardstick for measuring how practical, how contextually relevant, how useful was a sermon. No, but we measure attendance. Did people come? Did they not come? How much did they give? That just shows you what is fundamentally wrong sometimes with our growth patterns. Same thing in business. You measure income, you measure revenue, you measure sales. I just want to start by shifting your focus. What are the things that I can do, that I can influence, that actually predict my outcome? Can I influence product quality? Can I influence visibility? Can I influence reach? Can I influence? What are those things? Key point for this subtrack. If you will be able to track growth, you need to be able to identify for your business, for your brand, for your ministry, what are the lead measures, and then shift your focus to them. It's going to be a significant game changer. Significant game changer. So that this doesn't just end up as talk and you get excited, we're going to do our first assignment. Yep, yep. This is a school, you're in a class. Now you have an assignment. And you're going to do this and it's going to be submitted. What's the first assignment? The first thing I want you to do is identify your primary one or two areas of growth focus for this year. If you run 5 businesses, which I know some of you do, if it's all 5 you want to grow, fine. If there's any one or two you want to focus on specifically, list it out because I want us to be very practical and specific now. Of course, once you are growing, remember that growth is internal and everything follows it. If you are able to focus on growth on the internal, everything will follow. So if you can focus on one business, 2 businesses, I can guarantee you the rest will follow. So identify what are the one or two things you want to focus on. Is it business? Is it career? Is it ministry? Is it personal brand? Whatever it is, identify it. Now, what are the lag measures of growth? Meaning, in these areas I have mentioned, what are the things people will see to know I am growing? That I talked about lag measures and we should not focus on them doesn't mean we should ignore them. And in fact, we need to start from them because usually that's where our goals are written. Our goals are written as lag measures. What are the things people will see to know growth is happening? Oh, this business last year we made 50 million. This year we want to make 200 million, 4x growth. We want to make 500 million, 10x growth, whatever it is. Write it down. Then this is where the work is. Identify the lead measures of growth. What are the things that will actually drive growth for this area? So if what you want to see in the business is increased revenue, what do you think are the things? I mean, we're going to discuss this when we meet on a coaching call, right? But at least I want to get you thinking. I want to get you shifting your focus to the right things. So for every goal you've set, what are the things I can influence that will give rise or will lead to this result? So do the assignment and I'll be hoping to see your results. And then we can move on from there. Thank you.